Hi Leos, this is your astrological prognosis for November 2012 with me Lada from astrolada.com, where I have my birth chart calculator where you can check your moon sign, ascendant sign and the sun sign. Everyone knows it, but always the ascendant sign is extremely important for prediction, and the moon sign I would say as well. Some people respond much better to the moon sign prediction, and I would always advise start with the ascendant sign and then check the moon and the sun signs later on. But anyway, what does November hold for you, Leos? Well, there is a big conglomeration of planets, the Sun, Mercury, Moon, Saturn, the nodes, the North Node in Scorpio, which is your fourth house. Scorpio is the fourth sign after Leo, so it is the fourth house. This is how we decide the houses in astrology. We count them from the sign for which the prognosis is, and usually we start with the ascendant. And what does it mean? Well, the planet is making you put a focus on fourth house affairs in your life. And fourth house on the mundane level, it's your family first of all. It's your home, your property. And whenever there is an eclipse might bring some sudden changes. Almost very quick, unexpectedly often. Sometimes they can be even through crisis because it wants to grab your attention. It wants to make some big changes in your life there, and it wants to make it quickly. And basically some people might have a desire to move, to relocate during this period, to leave their country of origin or their present place of residence, to make some changes to do with their flatmates or with people who live with them, to make some changes to do with in their environment where what they call home, maybe do some refurnishing, restructuring, and some people might even buy property during this period. Or for some people, if it's going to be in the crisis way that the eclipse will activate them, they might have to move out unexpectedly. They're given a note that they have to leave, or that something, that some change has to happen with their property or with landed property, or even with fourth houses per parents. So there might be some sudden changes or crisis situation to do with parents, to do with maybe uh, some changes are happening in the life of your parents or your own family, your own personal closest, dearest people that you consider family. There is something that might be happening there that you have to pay attention to. And it doesn't always have to be a crisis, but certain changes are happening. And fourth house is the mother in particular, the nurturing parent, the parent who you felt more nurturing and emotionally connected to. So it can signify some changes in the life of this person's for the life of this person, or some issues rising up from that area. Sometimes they can be negative, like arguments or difficulties, but let's hope this is not so. And eclipse fourth house is also to do with your emotional well-being. So it's a very private inner house, so how you feel emotionally about within yourself. And when there is an eclipse, of course, there is hiding of the light. And when there is hiding of the light, there is feeling of disconnection from source. So feeling a more darkness or feeling a more doom and gloom emotionally. So people may be more emotionally restless, a bit unhappy, or paranoid or fearsome about things. They might not even be sure. You might not, especially if your ascendant is in Leo, you might not even be sure why you're feeling this restlessness or this kind of a more worrisome feeling within yourself, and just be aware that it's the eclipse, and around the eclipse in particular, a month before and a month after, you might feel this tension. It doesn't have to be constant for 2 months. It might be just for a week or 10 days that you're feeling like that, and you're wondering why this is. But relax, it has its own purpose. It's some psychological processes taking shape within yourself, restructuring your inner wiring ups. And as I said, on the outside level, it can be something to do with your family, with home, with vehicles. Fourth house rules vehicles. And on the emotional level, it can be just some inner emotional fears or restlessness, or eclipse happening, or some breakthrough that happens in yourself emotionally, some change in the modes, the emotional mode that you have naturally in yourself. And let's see, Mars is in your fifth house. Fifth house rules children, and Mars is a bit of an aggressive planet, so you might have some, if you have children, you might have some tensions to do with children. but that's in more extreme cases. In most cases, it will just intensify the energy that you have to spend with children, so you have to pay more attention to your children just during this period, spend more time playing with them or helping them study, or somehow interacting with your children more. Your child might be exhibiting more martial qualities, in a sense being a bit more energetic, a bit more troublesome, a bit more cheeky, a bit more aggressive or angry, but it doesn't always have to be. It just can be a bit more energetic than normal. And a bit more daredevil, and fifth house is the house also of having fun and hobbies. So you might be feeling in a more, let's say, adventurous mode during this period for fun, which is a bit more extreme, which is Mars, more daredevil, or in a bit more party crazy mode. Mars is very energetic planet, and when it goes into the fifth house of fun and hobbies, and parties, you go a bit like, ooh, a bit more wild, and a bit more uh, you can imagine what it's going to be like. Mars, energetic planet as Mars, the god of war, in the fifth house of partying, a bit painting the red town, the town red a bit more, in a bit more aggressive way even. And also fifth house is kind of sports you practice, or you can be in a more competitive mode. You can be like, you might feel like having a bit more joy and fun and working out a bit more. So it's a good thing to do during this period, work out this fifth energy Mars, by putting energy into hobbies, into playing with your children, into more exciting fun and hobby activities than normal. And fifth house is your creativity as well, inspiration. So you might be feeling more inspired to go and do something a bit more crazy, more inspired to even to be a bit more aggressive with your creativity somehow. But it increases the creativity. For those of you people who need creativity, this will be a positive period for you, because it will increase this creative energy in you. And Mars is a planet of action, so it makes you put into something productive, utilize, put into action this creative energy that you have. And fifth house is a romantic house as well, so it can energize your romantic life, and especially such romantic experiences which are validating for your self-esteem. So it can be also positive in that way. And I just want to give some specific days right now. Those of you who have their ascendant or moon from 3 to 7 degrees in Leo, or those who are born from the 26th to the 30th of July, approximately plus minus a day, they're having Saturn influence. And Saturn is always about, let's say Saturn is very much about testing you. And those of you who have those days or those degrees, they can have a bit more difficult month than others, because Saturn makes these aspects rarely to those degrees in their horoscope, to those the ascendant, sun or moon makes the aspect once in 7 years. So for the next 12 months, starting from November, things might get a bit tougher, and you have to show, basically Saturn wants you to develop patience, to develop hard work, to be self-sufficient and rely on yourself. And definitely the best way to overcome Saturn transit is by really working hard, by not feeling sorry for yourself, because Saturn can lower the vibrations, and basically a person start doubting themselves, start thinking, oh, is this what I'm supposed to do in life? Am I good enough? Or someone tells you from the outside, someone tells you, oh, you're worthless, or we don't need you anymore, your work is not good, or oh, you're so lazy, you never do anything. Something can hit on your ego, on your confidence, on your self-esteem, on your self-belief, and you have to rebuild it stronger. And Saturn wants you to mature, to grow up, and to be very responsible. So if you're a naturally responsible person, when Saturn comes around, don't mope around feeling sorry for yourself or feeling negative. Just organize yourself better, get a reality check, and get more productive and hardworking, the things that are displeasing to you, because Saturn will bring a strong sense of displeasure and unhappiness within yourself for certain things which have to be corrected. If you don't do it, Saturn will stay for a whole year with you, so you just get more and more miserable. The best action is whatever is displeasing you, make sure you make an action to change it and work harder for overcoming it. Or if you're having, Saturn can bring a lot of responsibilities and hard work for you, and Saturn wants you to not to try and jump over those. Saturn wants you to take these responsibilities and fulfill them, and work on them rather than trying to go the easy way. And Saturn wants you to be very moral as well, so you can become much more moralistic on yourself, much more tougher on yourself. Either circumstances will demand more seriousness and more approach and application from you and hard work, or you will become on yourself much tougher, and you will demand this from yourself, and you'll be more displeased than normally with yourself, and you'll feel like there is some need to change something, and you'll go in that direction. Please do, otherwise you'll just stay in negative mode. This is the worst thing to do when Saturn is around, just to mope around, And also those of you who are born from the 3rd till the 8th of August, or those of you who have their ascendant and moon from 11 till 16 degrees, they have a Jupiter influence. And Jupiter influence it's a gentler, weaker Jupiter influence, but it tends to pick up your mood, so it's the opposite of the Saturn influence, and this will bring you some positive development in career, or in goals, in your desires for the future, in some projects that you're doing. So it will raise your vibration, it will attract some positive developments and positive conclusions of events. So it's for those of you born from the 3rd to the 8th of August, or who have ascendant or moon from 11 to 16 degrees, is a much better period of more gentle. You're not going to feel it very strongly because it's the weaker aspect of Jupiter, but you will feel this upliftment, more feeling connected, more believing, more feeling like life is meaningful, or that things are going the way you want. Some hidden opportunities can come into your life that can help you in certain direction or certain project, or can improve on your self-image. So it's a good period for starting new things for those of you who are born during this period, because you have more positive energy and you'll attract better results of those new things. And especially if your ascendant is from 11 to 16 degrees in Leo, Jupiter is sending the 100% positive aspect to your relationships, to the opposite sign, which is your relationship life. So you can have some positive experience to do with love. You can meet someone new that you can settle, or that you can have positive experience with. You can heal relationships. You can do new business relationships that will partnerships. So 7th house is personal or partnership relationships. So for you, it's a very good period for those. Either some business deal can go through positively, or new opportunity to do with business can come with business relationship, or with personal partnership. You can meet someone, you can have positive development of the relationships and positive experiences with this partner. Someone helping you. It doesn't have to be a love partner or business partner. It can be just an outside person as well, just reaching a hand to you and helping you fulfill your desires, somehow put you on the right track in your life. So I think this is all for Leos. Most of you who don't have any of those degrees I mentioned, the focus is on 4th house, on family matters, on property, on spending more time within yourself, analyzing yourself. The eclipse is in the 4th house, so it is your emotional. You can have an emotional inner testing of yourself, and there is a more introspective focus during this month on yourself, on your own emotions, on your family, on personal life rather than so much outside life. Thank you so much, Leo, and please send feedback.